is 7 Politics, and I am Austine Bitrus. Well, it is now official that the African Democratic Congress, ADC, presidential primaries have been held and concluded successfully. Dumebi has clinched the party's ticket to run for the presidential election, polling a vote of 907 to 8 to defeat his close counterpart, Professor Moghalu, who pulled a vote of 589. Joining me in the program tonight, Chief Ralph Okey Nwosu. Chief Ralph, thanks for joining us in the program tonight.
Yeah.
Well, Chief Ralph has a doctorate degree in leadership and change program and several master's degree. He is also the chairman and principal consultant of St. Flair's Award Leadership and Change Consulting African Global Strategy. Let me start by saying happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations to your party for a successful primaries.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let's start with this. You just concluded your primaries a few days ago.
Yes.
Tell us, how was it? Was it free and fair? How successful did it go through?
You know, it's really something when you have about 12 bright young men and women contesting an election, the brightest of all the political parties, experts in their field, technocrats, entrepreneurs, mention them. Dr. Chief Ralph is on wheelchair, but he's one of the brightest persons you can imagine in this country. Has a PhD from Harvard. Monye is an Oxford graduate with a master's degree. Then Professor Moghalu, a top quality technocrat of international standard. So we had the best of the best. So it kind of put so much pressure on me as the national chairman.
You're sounding like the whole pressure was on you to decide who was to emerge the winner. Is that what?
No. It's not. But I was just praying because I was just praying for the party for God to help us to have a successful convention. One, the insecurity everywhere. Two, you know how a lot of things can happen during a major event like that. So I was just praying, and I was praying also for all the aspirants. Before then, we held a big meeting and we said, you know what? There are 12 pillars, 12 kinds, and we call them 12 pillars of aspirants. And that whatever happens, these 12 pillars must stay together. And they all agreed. And I was praying, because it's easier said than done. So I was praying, let this happen. Come. What do we want to do? We want to transform this country. Forget the shenanigans that is happening in the so-called big parties. So this country needs deliverance, and ADC is championing it. Every political party, they know what ADC is doing, and they know the personal sacrifice I've put myself into to do. But however, from 10 o'clock when we started till almost 3 a.m. that morning, and I tell you something, the TV was beaming, everybody was there, and by the grace of God, we were able to pay for TV time, and it was live, being broadcasted. They all gave very wonderful speech. Unfortunately, we had to disqualify 2 because they had some pending issues which they were not able to fulfill.
Do you want to tell us about this issue?
As at that time. So 2 were disqualified. So 10 people contested out of the 12. Now, the game started. We stayed up all night. And the 2,050 delegates, at least 90% of them voted. And it was clear choice. By the time they finished and nominated one person, was like a big relief out of me. A big relief. And not just that, even after the convention, up till now, there are some people who have still not gotten back to their station. And so, but it was a very successful.
That was really a rigorous one.
It was a successful event, and everybody. I mean, some people were naturally not too happy about the event, but I think with time everybody will heal, because most importantly, it was a free and fair contest.
Okay, and I think somewhere around March, you had an interview with the Daily Sun. Mm-hmm. And then you told them that the bigger parties seem to have advantage. over the smaller parties. And of course, when we talk about big parties, APC, the ruling All Progressive Congress, and then PDP. So you said the bigger parties seem to have advantage, and then most of them are being sponsored by the government, which probably gives them that edge over the smaller party. Why did you say that?
No, I'm not. I didn't even. You paraphrased me wrong. But what I tried to say is that the corruption in the system seems to privilege the big parties, and that's why they have created that corrupt culture. Remove the corruption. Number one, there's nowhere in the constitution where they said that governors will spend the treasury of the state to sponsor the political parties. But that's what happens. That's corruption. So he gives them an advantage. That's wrong. And this corruption culture is even affecting us, trying to build a new brand party where members funded the party through membership dues.
So if your party emerges the winner of the
it will
presidential
stop.
race,
All of this
you are
nonsense.
saying that there's nothing from the government covers that will go into your party.
All the nonsense will stop. Because I tell you something. If we're in government at the presidency level and at the different state level and so on, under 1 year, we are going to grow a membership of 5 to 10 million members. And according to our constitution now, where each member pay 1,000 naira every month. We grow our, you know Nigerians, typically once we're in government, everybody now wants to become a member of ADC. And we say to be a member of ADC because of our discipline, our DNA, 1,000 naira every month.
So
1,000 naira every month will give you 10 billion naira every month. And you can run a political party.
10 billion, 1,000
yes,
naira
a month.
Multiply by how many?
For 10 million members will give you 10 billion naira a month. With that, we can run a top quality political party and so on, with offices in every ward, with staff in every ward, and staff that will even be performing community functions in every ward.
Moghalu has been in your party for some time.
Yes.
And Dumebi has clinched the ticket.
Yes.
But the name Moghalu has been, is more popular within the Nigerian contest. He contested in 2019
yes.
and lost for APC, came on board. So don't you think people will be wondering, what came about the choice of Dumebi? In fact, considering what you said, a lot of people were not happy at the outcome. Some persons, there were a bit of grievance. What came about the choice of Dumebi instead of Moghalu, which has been the name, like a household name in Nigeria?
You see, leadership is something of the heart and not of the head, really. You have to touch people's heart. Moghalu is very cerebral. Moghalu is a top-class intellectual. But at times, intellectualism and leadership, you have some issue because intellectualism is more of the head. Emotional intelligence is critical, how your people are feeling. I didn't know this until after this guy had emerged. And as a candidate, we have to embrace it. And if that is what they decided, who am I? Maybe this underdog that people think less about may end up. Do you know the underdog strategy? The underdog surprises everywhere in the world? There are theories about the underdog. Somebody that will just come from the blues. You don't think about him as the likely choice. And through his own different strategies, he emerges. And that is the strategy. Now that Dumebi has become our candidate, we brought some of our experts to study him, and we discovered that underdog image will help us to deliver him as president. So I can assure you it will happen.
Ralph, we are at the verge of, the 2023 election.
Yes.
Just a few months ahead.
Mm-hmm.
How prepared is your party?
I can tell you.
How prepared is your? We're talking about.
I can tell you.
We're talking about having.
President Dumebi is coming. I can tell you that.
Let me finish up.
I know what you want to say. How prepared? I want to tell you that President Dumebi is coming.
We have the Tinubu Jagaban of the APC. Mm-hmm. that you are coming to contend with.
Yes.
And then we have an Atiku of PDP.
Yes.
Dumebi, that name is not, I don't know. Is there any threat hearing those two names I've mentioned? Do you feel threatened?
I hear now about 3 names. You know, that's Atiku,
Okay.
Peter Obi, Tinubu,
And even Kwankwaso.
Okay, Kwankwaso. These are people who are already, who have already been involved in the political system. Nigerians, listen to Nigerians very well. Nigerians say they want youth, and they would rather not have anybody who's been involved in the political system. Because the people who have been involved in the political system have caused havoc in the country. Look at our country.
But the chant has been on Peter Obi from the youth side.
Yeah, you know, the youth, by the time it was they were looking at Atiku, Kwankwaso, Tinubu, or the possibility of Tinubu, imagine, and then Peter, they were thinking, oh, Peter is more of the youth that they want, and seem to have some clear record. But now, all of a sudden, an activist, a publisher, activist, not for today, but has been an activist pushing youth program for the last 20 years. You can go to YouTube and you see the things he pushes out on a daily basis. So from what he's been doing before that time, you know what his heart says. Now he has emerged. Now that he has emerged, people, the youth and everybody will see a clear alternative. He was born in Kano. He went to school in Benin and Lagos.
Chief Ralph, tell us, what is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear ahead of 2023 election? What is your biggest fear?
That is a very big question. Biggest fear. I'm just praying. You know, I'm a prayerful person, and my family pray with me for the rate of insurgency to at least go down. Because at times you wonder, how can we embark on this campaign with the way to travel from here to Kaduna is tough, and I'm going to have my party men and women move in a bus to Kaduna to go and campaign, or you want to go to Katsina, you want to go to Kano, you want to go to this thing. So the governments in place have brought almost everything so low. And if this government continue for almost 8 years now, they're not able to check some of these issues. And my men and women of ADC will be moving around. It's really it's really a fearful thing.
Chief, let me just get your take on Igbo presidency before we round up. I mean, look at what is happening in Labour Party. I mean, LP, and then what do you see? This assertion that most Nigerians that the Igbos are not united. Do you see it? Limiting their emergence. I mean, that Igbo presidential agitation.
You want me to answer that? No, you know, I don't want to get into that. But what I want to get into is that, look at the person, Dumebi. He's from the Niger Delta. He's from Delta State. And he's had a very clear, authentic record as a crusader. Not necessarily for politics.
All right, thank you.
Therefore, he connects with a lot of Nigerians across. And for somebody who is a diversity expert like I am, talking about, I told you how in our party we say no dichotomy, and our symbol is handshake for love. By the grace of God, between now and October 1st, we are going to do our handshake across Nigeria, where all Nigerians will, by midday October 1st, will stand up to be shaking hands. We're going to heal this country with love and our handshake.
All right, thank you, Chief. Thanks for joining us in the program tonight. That has been a wonderful time with Chief Ralph, the chairman of the African Democratic Congress.
ADC. This
is all we can take for 7 Politics today. Join us same time next week as we bring you other interesting programs. Thank you.